Two. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success. It's good to be back here on episode number 95 on this wonderful Tuesday. What is today? The 13th? 13th of May. Wow, it's May already. And just like every Tuesday, we're going to be talking about personal finance and success principles surrounding that. It's good to see my friend Matt. Bro, I've missed you. I haven't seen you since like Thursday.
I know, dude. We just struggled Friday without you. We were having sound issues. Everybody was talking we had a bring back Mike chant coming. But it's good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you live in person this week at Mission 25. Speaking of Mission 25, Mike, why don't you tell everyone what's getting ready to happen tonight?
Oh, sure thing. Tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern is our Mission 25 fundraising auction. Let me grab a link here real quick. We'll just pop it up for everybody watching live in the archive. Um, my wife's done a great job organizing this, and people have been so generous to donate items for auction. People are already bidding. We're using a Facebook event page to sort of manage all and I believe right now, Matt, there's 64 items that are available that we're going to be auctioning off. And so the way that that works is you can go pre-bid right now, kind of like one of those silent auctions at a charity event, and uh, and you can just sort of put your bid down in the comments on any of the items on that Facebook event page, and uh, and then tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, we're going to do a spreecast just like this, and do like a final auction where people can try to outbid each other, whatever, and we'll get those items to the highest bidder, and it should be exciting. So we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun with it tonight. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about Mission 25. I'm sure
And
uh,
it's not
with
too late. If
our
someone
big
has
Philly.
something that they want to auction off, feel free to email us too. It's not too late. You might have, a set of golf clubs or, a watch or, brand new iPad that you're not going to use or an old iPad you're not using. You never know, man. You never know. Like everybody will be blessed because everybody will find deals. And then that's
Yeah, we'll see it happens when we get rolling on it. I think you froze up. I think I lost Matt for a second. So I'm back, and we're still having problems. And yeah,
considering 8 mission
I
trips.
think
So I'm excited about that, Mike. It'll be fun. Still with us.
good. I lost you for a second there, Matt, but maybe you were there and I just went away. I'm not sure what happened. You went away again. Hey, so everybody join us tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll put the link to the Spreecast on that Facebook event page. So look for it there and join us. Should be an exciting time. Never know what kind of interesting stuff will happen.
Well, what do we got in store today, Mike?
Well, today we're going to talk about how to keep Matt connected to the internet, and it's going to be an exciting conversation.
Thing keeps booting me off here.
Well, that's what's great about technology is that it's full of surprises, twists and turns, and you know,
Oh, I like that.
uh,
I'm low today, they said. We'll get that fixed.
I don't know. My audio got cranked way up here. Let me adjust that.
I
I don't
did
know
that.
if Matt adjusted my audio. You're not allowed to adjust audio, Matt. Just saying.
Well, today's about finances, and like every Tuesday, we cover topics of money and wealth building and finances. So, I want to give you some nuggets and some principles because we believe what the Bible says money answers all things. Everyone out there should want to make as much money as you can and then some because money is going to be the answer for every problem you face, literally. That's biblical. So, we're not afraid to talk about it. We're very open. We're very transparent. We're very real. And we just like to share what we've experienced in our journey of business and entrepreneurship and wealth building and finances and getting out of debt and getting in debt, getting out of debt and getting back into debt. So Let's talk about it, Mike. Tell us what we have here, Rev.
Well, we've got several questions. I actually wanted to kind of jump in first of all, and of course, integrity is a big part of life and affects a lot of things in our life. I would just sort of ask your opinion. How important do you think of integrity is when it comes to handling money and handling finances?
Well, because I believe that money is spiritual, and I believe that we literally are going to give an account from God for every penny that comes through our hands. Because we're at the end of the day, we're stewards, right? God trusts us with money, and there's something that happens. Remember, money is energy and it's spiritual. So anytime you're dishonest or you don't practice financial integrity, it literally it sets off a negative energy into your life, and you're going to start attracting problems or what have you. And so the question was, how important is it? To me, it's life or death. To the difference between somebody that's going to be financially wealthy in their future, or somebody that's just going to have a lot of financial problems. I think at the end of the day, your heart should be to want to be honest in your finances. And even in couples, I know a lot of couples that are not honest with their spouse about money. Even people in business. So I think that it's very important, Mike, that we practice financial, even in our taxes. I know a lot of people that try to beat the tax system, and I believe that we should take advantage, and it's not taking advantage, but of every tax break opportunity that we can. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it starts becoming deceptive, that's where you have to be careful when it comes to money, because of the energy. We don't realize how much energy is involved in money. And so I think that's just very important to even Mike and I, as we're building and setting up Mission 25. One of the agreements you and I made with each other is, hey, let's do everything by the book, and God will bless Mission 25 and bless our finances if we do that. And so I think it's worth slowing down in life and doing things right. You've heard the old saying, if you do it the right way, you won't have to go back and try to fix it. And I think a lot of people in life, Mike, they're used to cutting corners, and this kind of carries over into their finances, where they don't do things right and they don't really pay attention. Even like now, I know that this is part of life and it happens, especially if you're going into entrepreneurship, or maybe you're in a startup company where sometimes you may not get paid till months down the road. But as much as possible, paying your bills on time is an issue of integrity. You know what I mean? We understand there's times you just can't. So there's no guilt if you can't. But at least making a hard attempt to say, I want to pay every bill on time. And even praying about that and saying, God, it is my intention to pay every single bill that I have on time. That's my intention. And if that's your spirit and that's your integrity, then I believe your finances will soon open to where you'll be able to do that. What are your thoughts,
That's
Mike?
good. Uh, well, I just in general, when the topic of integrity comes up, I believe that a lot of times people will look at the big things in their life, or the big things maybe in the case of what we're talking about, finances, the big things of finances, and say, I'm going to have integrity in the big things. But you also got to, integrity really means it's also the small things, and maybe even more so, because it's easy to sort of focus on two or three big things and say, I'm going to have integrity there, and then sort of allow the smaller things to slip. But it's those smaller things that really build the foundation of an integrity, your personal integrity when it comes to any topic such as finances. So I would say, it's also important to remember the smaller things.
I
And
agree. In fact, the small things reveal where it always starts in the small things. For example, um, somebody gives you something, or let's say you're at the grocery store or the store, and you're buying something, and you realize they forgot to ring something up, and you notice it when you get home. Like, that is a literal moment where your integrity is tested. Of like, oh, it's no big deal, they forgot. The store makes millions. Or do you drive back and say, look, I got to be honest, I bought these things, but you forgot to ring me up for this. Not everybody can do that, Mike. Even in the old saying, when you play the game of the question game, what would you do if you found a wallet and there was $200 in cash in it? You know what I'm saying? Those are when you're tested. I like what you said, the small things. That reveals a lot. And just be careful not to allow yourself to justify in the small areas, such as, um, you ordered something at a restaurant and you realize they didn't charge you. Maybe you ordered cheesecake and you get the bill and you realize that they forgot to put it on there. Like, mention it. Don't be like, yes, I got a deal. Like, mention it. Like, hey, I don't know if you knew this, and maybe they meant to not charge you, but at least it keeps that spirit of integrity going in your life to where at least it matters. I think at the end of the day, Mike, it's all about your heart. It's all about your intentions. It's all about what you accept and what you don't accept. That's my opinion about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Um, a cheesecake. Now you lost Carol. Um, hey, Britton asked a question we're gonna jump to here real quick. She's asking, from your experience, have you found a specific budget planning software program that seems to work better than another? Do you have any thoughts on that, Matt?
I don't. I've pretty much stuck with the Dave Ramsey on everything myself. Like, I use his budget sheet. I like writing it out. As far as like using I like Quicken. So I use Quicken, has a really good way of kind of charting your spending. It's got like this pie thing. And so I use Quicken, and then
Yeah.
I use any of Dave Ramsey's tools myself. But Mike's the guru when it comes to software and programs. Mike, any that you've come across that are really good for that, or have you written one, my friend?
No, I haven't written one. I've done some spreadsheet type stuff that for very specific focused situations, but an overall budget planning system. I actually was using Mint.com for a while, and I liked it because of the integration they had with a mobile phone app, and primarily, and this actually comes back to an issue of integrity, and it's difficult, as you can imagine, in the especially our lifestyle, Matt, the things that we do from a ministry and from a business standpoint. When it comes time to file our taxes, my taxes are exceedingly complex, and I actually do my own taxes, but and there's a lot of business expense and there's a lot of ministry expense and those sort of things, and to track that and make sure that we have, that it's accurate, because there's a, and I've seen, this comes back to an issue of integrity, kind of jumping back to that topic, but I've seen, where people will go out and they'll have dinner and they'll say, hey, let's talk about business for 30 seconds so I can write this off. And that is not honest, right? I mean, if you literally take a client out for dinner, then yes, it is a business expense. If and there's ministry expense involved when you're having a meeting for ministry or whatever. But make sure that your expenses for business that you're going to write off are actually expenses. And so that's one of the things that I liked about Mint, was it was very easy to track those expenses and categorize them for different areas of life. And when you're dealing with, we really, I'm kind of running 4 different startups, including a startup ministry, right? We're launching this missions movement, so to try and keep all that straight is sometimes challenging, and it did a good job
Yeah, that's
with
actually
that.
really good, Mike. Very good practical stuff. Um, Mike, some people are saying they can't budget, right? And I get that. The only thing I would encourage you is what I learned from Dave Ramsey is make yourself go through the grind. It is a grind. Developing a budget and working your budget is a grind. It's not easy. If it was easy, then everyone would be doing it. The only thing I would encourage people is, because of the positive result and because of the outcome, make yourself go through the grind of doing it. Even when it frustrates you, even when you scribble all over it and you're trying to make it work and you don't get how, there's a whole lot more bills than there is cash, Still, there's something about putting it on paper. There's something about getting, like Dave Ramsey said, giving every dollar a name. Like that little simple step of literally giving every dollar a name, like spending it immediately, putting it where it needs to go, keeps you from. That's good, Sherry. I got you, Sherry. I got you on that. Um, I like this. Okay, Mike. So, what other questions have people asked, man?
I think we covered it before. Carol's asked something in the comments about the envelope system. I think we talked about that last week. One thing that I would say about the envelope system, and I think the power of that is spending physical cash, and that's the thing that, and we don't personally use that, but when you have to pay cash for something, I like Dave Ramsey's concept is that you feel it more, and I totally agree with that.
Totally.
I mean, if you have $200 to spend, for let's say discretionary spending in a month, and it's just in the bank, and you swipe your card, you sort of you can kind of keep track, and some people can very accurately do that. Most people can't. But when you literally have 10 $20 bills and they start going out, you're like, okay, I'm down to you can feel it and you can see it, and when you can see that cash, it has an impact on your really on your heart and on your mind.
And
So
you're right. And you do tend to
that's
spend less. You do. It is a psychological fact that people do tend to
mhm.
spend less when they spend cash as opposed to continuously using their debit card. And that's a true, very true.
Hey, so another question we have that came in, and some people are, let's say they're watching the show and they've they're they want to do better with their finances personally and how they handle money. What are some small steps, some things that they can do initially to get better when it comes to money?
Mike, I'm gonna go there. Before I do, I just had an intuition to speak this. I don't know why. But to all the ladies out there that your husbands are successful in business and maybe they make a lot of money and maybe you're able to be a stay-home mom or a stay-home wife, I have seen this. I've seen this in a lot of my friends, and this happens with a lot of celebrities, believe it or not. It is so important that you as a couple grow together. Do not.
It's like we dropped again, and I was really hanging on the edge of my seat. Like, what was he going to say? We'll get Matt back here and see what he was going to say on that. We completely lost him. See what I can do here. Hey, does there you are.
Um, Basically, I'm just saying, like, if you're a lady that your husband makes good money, like, don't be a careless spender just because there's money. Like, your husband worked hard to build that wealth. He's out working hard, and show respect. It's not that you can't. I just see a lot of wives in this situation, Mike, that have, in a way, kind of disrespected. Let's say you end up marrying a guy that has wealth. You know, really make sure that you approach finances and money, big money, with maturity and not all this. That's the problem some people make. They get a big check, like tax time. Everybody just goes out and like spends. You do want to kind of be careful of that kind of stuff. I just felt like speaking that, Mike, because we were talking about integrity, and we were talking about budget. And we were talking about, I just see a lot of, and don't get me wrong, please, this is not a gender slam at all. But I have seen wives that have really kind of abused, the process here, abused the situation just by just going out and spending and not like, even if you make a lot of money and your husband makes a lot of money, still be budget conscious, still be conservative. Still know where your money's going. Don't just go out and just spend and rack up credit card bills. I've seen this happen a lot, Mike. A lot more than we
Yeah.
realize.
I like what Sherry's saying here too about spending like 20 here and 40 there, and those small amounts add up, which is why it's so important to like direct where your money goes, and that's why a budget is so important, and really probably why a lot of people find the envelope system so powerful is because you physically see those 20s and 40s go, and those 20s go out by ones and twos, that it's crazy when you think about it. Sometimes I'll stop and do the mental exercise of, oh wow, I just spent $22 on pizza, and like between that and what we spent 2 days ago at Culver's, and that, I'm like, oh, in 8 days what we spent on restaurant food would have bought my plane ticket somewhere, right? I'll do those mental exercises to kind of keep myself in check,
That's
and
good.
because I'm a math guy, it's easy for me, right? But
That's very good. Um, okay, so you were going into a question about. I love what Al said, and that's a real practical question. What do you think about prenuptial agreements to control spending? I think if you have to get a prenup, she's not the lady you should marry. That's my opinion. Um, that's my real opinion. Meaning, if you even think, because if trust is everything, right? And believe it or not, money is a huge issue. Money is just as important in a relationship as is sexual attraction or physical attraction or chemistry. So, like, that's part of the dating process where you get to know the person you're thinking about marrying. And if you see like a potential made, this is a red flag. Like if you need a prenup, that's she's not the one, or he's not the one. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion, Al. I might be wrong, and someone else may have another opinion, but my opinion is then if someone needs a prenup, then they're not the one. You know what I'm saying? So Mike, you had asked. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I I'm agreeing with your opinion completely, 100%. These two shall become one. I don't believe in separate bank accounts,
Yeah,
separate checking accounts, separate money.
I,
You can't keep things separate and be married.
that's very good. Trust. I mean, you have no relationship at that point. You know what I mean? If you're like, well, my money's my money, your money's your money. No, it's not. These two shall become one. I love that. What are you laughing at there, man?
Carol's comment. I appreciate, Carol, that you specified that that's not us. She says she's seen men go out and buy big toys without sitting down with their wife
That's
and
another
discussing
huge
it.
issue. That's another huge issue. That you're right. Guys come out and buy, boats and all these things, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as your wife's not getting calls from the bill collectors. You know what I'm saying? And you know,
Mhm. Christy's asking, and I think this is a gender issue. Do you think it matters who handles the majority of money?
no,
I personally don't think it matters. I think different people are gifted different ways. If a wife in a marriage has more skill with finances and with math type things and accounting, absolutely. I think it should be a joint thing though, and I really like what Britton said earlier about even if the husband handles it, she should be involved in that and understand what's happening. Um, so
well, that's what
so it should be a group effort.
he teaches the family budget meeting, right? The family
Right,
business meeting.
right.
So yeah, I listen. Over communicate about money as a couple. Don't fight about it. Just communicate and don't let it be as you're passing each other in the hallway while you're getting ready, for work, or you're getting ready to leave for an appointment. It's got to be something you sit down and you plan together at the table or at Starbucks where you say, okay, let's take an hour. Let's talk about all our finances. Here's our upcoming bills. Here's what's coming in. What do you think about this? And ask each other. There's no need to fight. The reason why most couples fight, Mike, is because they don't sit down and really have planned financial meetings. I think that would save a lot of whatever. So I think the person that should handle the finances, I think in some cases, I'll give you an example. There are times when your life is going to bring financial pressure. Case in point, Thursday, our entrepreneurship show. That's just all there is to it. When you go to start a business or you're in a startup, you literally almost live without cash. You literally live on, and sometimes the wife is the weaker vessel. And sometimes in those situations, it's better for the husband to take it just so the wife doesn't feel the pressure of the stress. I mean, he still communicates with her, but sometimes being that she, and I mean, again, it's a Bible principle, so don't think that I'm saying that women are weak because I believe they're strong. But the Bible says that they are the weaker vessel. So it just depends on the situation, in my opinion.
Mm,
Bam.
that's good. Um, well, Carol asked a question too, but let's cover the one that we were on. We got distracted, and then we'll jump back to that one. Um, and I had asked basically, what are some small steps that people can take in their life when it comes to money?
Um, Small steps number one is you have to do a financial analysis right now. Most people might don't know where their money is. They don't like we should know like everything that I've studied and the wealthy people that I know, they have a habit of knowing exactly where every dime goes. And the people that are always broke or the people that don't have money, they don't know. They couldn't tell you. And so I think doing a true financial analysis of your last 3 months spending is a small baby step you can do just
Yeah,
to grab a hold of like, okay, now I get why I'm always coming up short, and then a baby step such as budgeting, a baby step such as cutting your expenses. A lot of people, Mike, they don't cut their expenses. And at the end of the day, if you're in a cash crunch, sometimes you got to go on a spending freeze. You literally got to say, okay, we're not spending a dime outside of necessity. You know what I mean? So these are like small steps. And we'll go back into this next Tuesday, Mike. I would like to get to Carol's question because that came from Rachel, who's
yeah,
not able to type in the chat box. So she's
right.
typing through Carol. So I would like to acknowledge that one, and we'll come back to the baby steps because I think there's more you and I both can
Okay.
share on that. Uh,
Yeah. So she's asking our opinion on why there's so much guilt in many people related to spending, and what's the origin of that?
I think the guilt comes from you don't feel you're not whole yet, and you're not at a place of healthy self-esteem. So it's a deeper issue of, oh, I shouldn't buy this dress. It's an issue of you don't love yourself yet like you should. And I'm not saying you, Rachel. I'm saying whoever's battling with this guilt, of spending money. And again, at the end of the day, it depends on your financial situation. There are times you should feel a little guilt. You know what I mean? There's times you should feel a little check of like, I shouldn't have done that. I feel bad I did that, right? And then there's other times
Mm,
where that guilt is not healthy, and it's actually it's killing the money energy in your life, and it's keeping more money from coming to you. Remember, you cannot disrespect money, my friends. You cannot. Money will not stay around when it's disrespected. So I think that you have to. Sherry says her husband makes her feel guilty. Um, yeah, I mean, it just depends on the situation.
You know what, Matt? That situation, I got two things. First of all, the situation like Sherry's talking about, that's the power of a budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you budget, $200 a month for new clothes, right? Then there's zero guilt when you spend $200 on new clothes, right? If you spend 300, then okay, we have a problem. Let's not have guilt. Let's just have a correction. And I think that that's one of the powerful things about a budget is that it removes some of that guilt when it comes to spending. I would say, kind of more to Rachel's question, that a lot of times we grow up with really unhealthy attitudes about money. I
Very
mean,
true.
I know people that if I become massively successful and I have a lot of money, there are people who will look down on me straight up because it's like feel like, oh, Mr. Big Shot has money, whatever, right? And they'll like try to make me feel guilty about having money. And there's this negative, incorrect attitude about it. That if you have nice things, everybody doesn't have nice things. Maybe you should feel guilty about that. And that's sort of something that we kind of grow as, and maybe it's just a Midwest working class kind of psychosis that I have here. I don't know, but um, that's kind of been my experience.
You are
Are you looking for a
you
book?
are 1,000,000,000% correct, Mike. let's close with this. I love what you said, and this is what we're gonna stress almost every Tuesday. Your top priority is to change your financial blueprint. You've got to think right about money. You've got to have healthy thoughts. You've got to have healthy energy. And all of these things that we're giving you principles. Everybody will work them different, but what works are the principles. You understand that? Mike, I love what you said about how when it's in the budget, it eliminates the guilt. And every one of you should have blow money. All the financial people teach you that no matter how hard you're working a budget, you should still always have a little bit of money in the budget for a little blow money, my friends. And that's just sometimes good and healthy. Anyway, what a great day today. Awesome questions. I'm loving the interaction. I appreciate everyone that took time to share with us today and to make comments and questions. Those are listening later on the archive. You know what's cool, Mike? I believe in a 30-minute exercise every day, right? And this is what I teach my clients. You know what's cool? I tell people, put Fuel for Success on your iPod because you can go to iTunes and download all of our episodes, and you literally could listen to any previous episode while you're walking or biking or running. So take advantage of that. We'll be seeing y'all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our show about spirituality, my friends. God bless y'all.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.